Hello, I'm Ilya from band Neo Noen.
Hello, I'm Filip Vulovic.
Hello, my name is Milan Vujovic.
My name is Marko Vukčević. I'm a singer of this band. Clickbait!
And in less than a week, the journey had already ended. A moment in time that should have been about joy and support for musical creativity instead turned into a bigger scandal than it ever should have been. Let's recap over this video and then see what might lie ahead. Having last participated in 2022 and after a very chaotic edition of the Eurovision Song Contest in Malmö, joy was felt when Montenegro confirmed their intention to return to the contest for the 2025 edition. This was even considered as a hopeful sign that could have sparked the interest of other countries which have been forced to withdraw in the past, with the possibility of seeing countries from the nearby region eventually returning over time, which would have included Bulgaria, North Macedonia and Romania. Montenegro and their respective broadcaster Radio Televizije Crne Gore even confirmed that a national final would as well be held, which was my cue for let's see if we can attend the event. Considering we were dealing with a small European nation which is home to almost 650,000 people, it did prove to be difficult to get in touch with someone who could help. Eventually, contact was made, application approved, flights and accommodation booked, backpack packed and everything was done, just at the very last moment. But it was done. Podgorica, here we come. The show was set to be held in the Verde complex by the Voko Podgorica Hotel, which is located by the outskirts of the capital city, Podgorica. With the show only being a one-night thing, I figured I might as well stay a little longer and enjoy the city. Usually, the coastal cities of the country such as Kotor, Herceg-Novi, Bar, Tivat and Budva are the ones that attract visitors, but myself being one of them city boys and traveling around wintertime on my own, I absolutely didn't mind spending some time to enjoy whatever the capital city had to offer. With the country being as small as it is, so was the capital city. Podgorica, unlike many other European capital cities, doesn't offer much to explore and enjoy, so it was the perfect occasion to visit. With the focus being the broadcast of Montesong, there was more than enough time to mix work with a personal tourism schedule. The city did indeed have its hidden jewels around, which among them include sites like the Clock Tower, the Resurrection of Christ Cathedral and the stunning Millennium Bridge. Of course, when having the song contest as a constant mindset, there are other aspects that become interesting when visiting a new and unfamiliar city. Since the Eurovision Song Contest is offered to the nation that is victorious, then of course I wish to see whether it would be even possible for said city if it could even host such an event. When it comes to Podgorica, I would honestly be very skeptical about it. Would it even be possible? Perhaps, but it would be very much scaled down. To say the least, the city would probably need to do something out of the usual if it would to work, when considering what the contest is today. However, if it would help the country gain attention overall, then it definitely would be worth it. The capital might be small, but it has a big heart, which deserves the visit of any curious traveler. After I had gotten to learn Podgorica a little better, there was still the main event, which was Montesong 2024. Considering that the show had been promoted to be this new grand event with the hope of promoting local music and not be just one-time thing, but something in the years to come as well, it was rather unfortunate that I was only allowed to be present during the live show. It would have been nice if there had been some time over the day to talk with the involved people and the competitors, to hear how they felt about the entire process, but hopefully they will be considered for the future of the contest. A small audience for the show was allowed, but the stage didn't even face towards the audience and seemed mostly focused on gathering attention from the press. Definitely something I had not seen before, but once again this was the first edition of the show, and when considering the short amount of time for overall preparation, then it was still an admirable job. In a good old-fashioned style, let's have a short recap of the participants. The atmosphere had been enjoyable, the entire production team had made sure that the show ran smoothly, only friendly faces everywhere. Despite it had been a difficult process to get to this show, it also reminded me why it was absolutely worth it. The show was a success and had done what music has the ability to do. It united the people. Of course, it did get exciting and tense when it was time to declare a winner, but at no point was any hostility felt. Montesong was a success. Until a few days later.
Do you think maybe we can sing the refrain, the chorus in English?
No, man, come
No,
on.
no, no.
Really?
Okay. I'm so addicted to hate, clickbait. You know it's never too late for clickbait.
There is something.
No matter gay or straight, I'm gonna take you on a date. If you share it to me, baby, clickbait.
Only a few votes made the difference between who would have won, and in the end, Neo Noen were the winners, which is why I had the pleasure to sit down with them for an enjoyable talk. Did I personally expect them to win? No, I didn't. Did most people expect this outcome? Most likely not. However, that's the beauty of the contest, that everyone stands an equal chance and that any genre of music is welcome. Sadly, this is not a view that is shared by everyone. Perhaps it's the competitive element that is taking control, which leads to blinded hatred. A personal opinion is one thing, but to present opinion as fact should never be the case, and especially not when it's hurtful. These comments shown here have purposely been censored in order to protect the identity of the involved individuals. Instead, the comments here should be used as a reminder that none of them are factual and pointless. Artists release music in order to seek an audience that will enjoy their material and share a message, and not to provoke nor bother anyone. Disliking a song is absolutely fine, and you are not forced to care about it, but when it leads to provocation, hatred and direct threats, it becomes unacceptable.
We live in a beautiful world where you have now one beautiful thing, it's called controller. If you don't like something, you change the channel.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't need to... if you don't like it,
That's the most
Just
democratic,
change it, so-
the most democratic thing ever made in the world.
If you don't like Neo Noen,
Yeah, of course.
change the
then
channel.
change the
Yeah,
channel.
perfect.
If you like,
Channel
vote for
or
you guys.
wait,
Yes,
or wait for the other act.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. In the end, the results had spoken, and Neo Noen were given the honor and task of making Montenegro proud on the European stage. With one question answered, a lot of new questions had arrived. Questions such as, would there be made changes to the song? Would they consider new ideas for their performance? What their personal goal was? Would the song get more English lyrics? And so much more. Questions I actually got to ask the guys about, which in return made me more curious and excited on their behalf for the journey that was to come. Little did we all know at the time that something would change its course. And then it happened. A video where the band is performing their winning song as a demo version, which they did in the summer of 2023. Nothing new, we've seen this before, nothing to worry about. As long as the song is not commercially released and or published, it is still illegible. However, just to be sure, RTCG wanted to verify with the EBU. As pointed out before, comments from individuals that were seen before had now shifted, hoping for an outcome which would satisfy them instead. Also mentioned before, none of these comments that appear online have any worth. The point of a national selection is to democratically decide the best suited option. In the case of the Eurovision Song Contest, the act that gathered the most points is the winner, and that applies to national finals as well, hence also to Montesong. According to the rules set by the EBU, every participating broadcaster is given the responsibility of how they select their entry, as long as they also comply with the rules set by the EBU. How an entry is exactly selected is fully up to the broadcaster, and in this case, RTCG gave 16 participants the chance to represent their country. Meanwhile, the main rule from the EBU, which involves this case, is that the song cannot have been released and/or publicly performed in part or in full prior to September 1st. In case the song submitted has been made available to the public, for example, but not limited to, on online video platforms, social networks, or semi-publicly accessible databanks and/or performed publicly, for example, but not limited to during concerts prior to the release date, which it has in this case, the participating broadcaster must inform the ESC executive supervisor, who shall have the authority to evaluate whether the song remains eligible for the participation in the contest, which was done. However, despite all these details were shared publicly, an official announcement and decision from the EBU never was. In response to the trouble, Ni Nguyen withdrew their candidacy instead. The band never intended to get involved with this kind of trouble, and so willingly they decided not to go any further with this case. It's hard to not wonder, why did RTCG allow this to happen? Why were the songs that were submitted to the contest not verified for being eligible to begin with? Why even inform the EBU about the case if no public response was even given from them? Why was all of this not just settled behind closed doors? From a fair point of view, verifying if songs are eligible or not is extremely difficult, especially in our modern time and age. Many musicians usually perform new/demo songs in order to gain feedback from their audience, but without making it a public release. And of course, in such a case, there will always be someone filming. You just never know where that recorded video will end up. To make matters worse, Vladana Vucinic, who was the artistic director of the show, had stepped down from her role. Not after Ni Nguyen withdrew their candidacy, but the day after Montesong was held, claiming it due to moral obligation. The incredible effort which I had witnessed with my own eyes and which I've shown parts of in this video had become a tainted project. The positive impression that the show had left had been ruined. Unfortunately, these kind of aftermath stories are not easily forgotten and can tear the reputation of certain people and organizations. As the saying goes, trust is hard to find and easy to lose.
Na Euroviziji u Švajcarskoj, tačnije u Bazelu 2025. godine, predstavlja Nina Žižić sa pjesmom Dobrodošli.
After some chaotic days where doubt was taken completely over, we eventually got the important answer, that Nina Žižić will instead represent Montenegro at the contest in Basel. Nina did finish second place during Montesong with her song Dobrodošli, and is the rightful alternative in this case. Any other outcome could have caused more unnecessary problems. Of course, there exist people who found this news to be a wonderful one, while there were also people who were unpleased with it. What both groups of people here have in common is that they've completely forgotten the true value and purpose of the contest. In the end, it's not about if you as a person like or don't like a song, it's about celebrating music to unify and support diversity and creativity, which is what music can do. A national selection was held in Montenegro in order to decide which song was the best option to make the people of Montenegro proud, to give the people options and discover new artists and new music. Of course, it's absolutely regrettable everything that has happened, but mistakes which should not have happened still did. And the best thing that can be done is to salvage the situation, rather than accept defeat. This is where I take my hat off and applaud Ni Nguyen for their stance to focus on the music, respect that Nina is openly ready to fill in instead, and that both Ni Nguyen and Nina could, despite everything that had happened, still show full respect and admiration for each other. Despite everything that was this national selection, it is now Nina's task to make Montenegro proud, with all the support she can get. Personally, I have no doubt that the entire Montenegrin team will do their very best for the best outcome. Now, with the decision settled, we are all cheering for Nina, and in my best Montenegrin, all I can say is Dobrodošli na Euroviziju, Nina. With all that said and done, now it's time for me to hear in return. Did this video change your view on certain things? Did you ever consider these things that artists might go through? Is there anything specific you wish was done differently? Anything at all? Feel free to share your thoughts with the public, and of course, keep it respectful. You never know who might see and read your comment. As for me, I'd like to say a huge and special thank you to Montenegro and the entire team behind this production for welcoming me and allowing me to spectate the beginning of a new music tradition. 16 participants got their moment on a big stage, which people not only in Montenegro could see, but also curious people from all around the world could. I hope I can say that we're very happy that Montenegro has once again returned to the European music family, and hopefully this time Montenegro will stay much longer. Mistakes were made, but they can also be fixed. We learn from mistakes and we do better. Don't let the few bad things take control. Who knows, maybe next time we will see even more artists who will be more than ready to share their unique music with the world. Until then, I'm already looking forward to see Montenegro impress even more and get ready to welcome not only me, but more people from Europe back to an incredible event. For now, all that's left to say is Hajde Nina, Hajde Crna Gora.